Quick Trip Run. Hey, how you doing? One of the many night rituals is a Quick Trip. Convenience stores, but around here is Quick Trip. They're pretty consistent and they have clean bathrooms. Sort of usual. Nobody has clean bathrooms anymore. That's a thing of the past, I guess. But they have cleaner than most. They at least have bathrooms that are stocked with toilet paper and are serviceable. Lately, that's something that's become very important to me. But they also have consistent items of snacks and whatever that we need, and so we make our Quick Trip run a couple of times a night usually. Our live shot happens to be where I was 22 years ago on this day. A couple hours from now is when I figured out it's 10 a.m. is about when I started waking up to what was going on. But we're here in the West Bottoms. I was living that way, and it was a summer day that day. It's very warm, actually, in the 80s, I think. And now it's a little different. It's starting to rain. I guess it's in the upper 60s. We're doing live shots here about a record company that's putting out their records on cassettes. And there's a debate. So you can turn on the light here and not blind everybody. There's a debate now because my reporter Daniela said this boombox is 50 years old. I said no, maybe 40, 30 something. Built in the 80s, looks like. Not 50 years old. Yeah, boomboxes from the 70s, from like 1973, looked a whole lot different than that. I don't even know if they had boomboxes in 73. I think they did, but they were a lot different. Let's see if we can do this without getting smooshed. It's, rush hour traffic. But, yeah, just about every year I return to where I lose my kidneys. Return to this spot. Not this spot in particular. I didn't walk around here. That's an interesting building. All these buildings are very historic and interesting. There's one in here. It's still a hardware and supply. There's one here. I think maybe it's this one. It's actually the old Studebaker building. We all love Studebaker. Wish they still made Studebakers. I can't tell. But yeah, when we come up on this street here, we cross under the bridge, which is much safer than trying to cross over there. Yes, I've had digestive issues this morning. I don't know if this helps. I think drinking coconut milk doesn't help. But yeah, I even missed one of my live hits, a tease, which is not good. I was in the bathroom, indisposed. Fortunately, there was a bathroom close by. Can't always count on that. Anyway, let's stop talking about that. I think I can turn in here. This wasn't here when I was here. There were railroad tracks here. And I chuckle a little because those railroad tracks, there was a gate here. And I tell you, that thing, yeah, the railroad tracks are over there. I tell you, that thing would stay dinging all night long. The mechanism would malfunction. There's a deuce and a half over here with a peace sign on it. Yeah, peace. Peace and love. But, yeah, this Langdon Supply building this room right over here, which, it's over here on the left side. That was my loft. And that's where I was staying when I heard about the planes crashing into the buildings, and that was truly a horrible day. I mean, there are things that, nobody should have to remember, and there are things that the way that some people perished in that day. It truly was a war, and some people's apocalyptic visions. I am not fond of that, and yeah, there are a lot of people out there who unfortunately have some terrible visions of the world and the way the world should be, and then it's a shame that innocent people would pay for that with their lives. I don't like going near this building here. When I lived here, that building was occupied and vibrant and everything. This is new. Forge, whatever that is. Now look at all the painting and stuff on the side of this building. Yeah, I can see that there are people who are still, because that upstairs has no air conditioning, and they're taking advantage of the nice weather. All the windows are open. Yeah. Make sure you look in crossing these tracks. I wish that coffee sign really meant coffee. I think it did at one time, but I never was able to enjoy any there. Where am I going? I'm avoiding the old Weld building. That's a Weld Tire and Wheel, because it's become a camp for vagrants, and I think I can do this. I don't know. Can't remember anymore. And they like to kick the glass out, and they like to try and time it so that if somebody's walking or driving, I can't imagine wanting to hurt another person in that way. And there are some people who do it for sport, and that's why I think their lives are crappy. I was going to use another word, but crappy fits. Here it is. Everything has kind of changed. I was in this building here. I was looking for rims for my Subaru Loyale, which, kind of hard to find. And this was a tire shop, tire repair and everything. And, I guess I can go. And so on the off chance that they had them, they didn't. But in the meantime, there was something going on. I heard Peter Jennings on the radio, and I don't know if you don't remember who Peter Jennings was. He's a longtime ABC News anchor, and he had a very calming, distinctive voice, and he was on the radio. And I was like, that's weird. What is Peter Jennings doing on the radio? And I asked them, and they were like, something about, I don't know, some World Trade Center, a bomb has gone off or something. They really weren't paying attention either. So I kind of went around I was doing a walk. I was walking for health and exercise. And the more I started thinking about it, the more it kept nagging and bothering me. So I truncated my walk. I finished it really fast. It was a very warm summer morning, actually, I think at least in the upper 80s. And I got back into my loft, and all I had was a little small TV, and I tuned it into the antenna. Haha, way back when. And it showed the New York City skyline with smoke coming up. And I was looking at it, I was like, I've been there, but something's missing. Aw, crap. Because I recognized it was the World Trade Center. And I was like, holy crap. And then they started watching the replays of the planes hitting the buildings. And by the time I got there, both buildings had fallen. And then they were talking about the Pentagon, and there's still more planes flying around possibly, and everybody was running around like heads with their chickens cut off, and oh, yeah, they tore down whatever this was and built this. It looks like that's going to be mini storage. Just what we need. And so yeah, that's how my day started, and then my mind started going crazy. Could they be using chemical warfare? Are they that sophisticated? Or are there still more planes flying around? And fortunately, by the time I was watching all that stuff, all of the destruction was over as far as planes hitting buildings and stuff. I mean, there was still all sorts of stuff going on, people dying, and it was just horrific. And it's burned into my brain. I'll never forget. Burned into my emotions, my spirit, everything. I'll never forget it, and I don't think anybody should. So, yeah. Wish we could forget it, but we should never forget. I'm close by and have some time, so let's have some tea.
Yes. Go on to that one would be more better.
Tea.
But I'm patient.
It's hot. Going to the doctor. Got a new hole in my arm. Taking advantage of the crapateria. Them's vittles were good. You know what? I'm thinking just come to the hospital for the cafeteria food until you get sick of it, I guess. Because it's better than most lunches out there and cheaper too. I mean, really. But why am I giving a penny tour of leaving the hospital? Some people say I'm the king of trivia that nobody cares about. But what I've found is that years later, down the road, when all things change and things get demolished and built and this, people go back and they want to see things such as, the old North Kansas City Hospital. So while it's still here, might as well. And, I can't show the process of what I went through. I had a CAT scan for my gut. But I didn't know this hospital was 2 buildings, really. I just got lost in it. I had to ask for help. I got myself locked in the stairwell of all things. I had to knock on the window and be asked to be let out. It was some mystery underground passageway I found myself to, but there were, I think I walked in the wrong direction. But yeah, this is a pretty nice hospital. I like it. This is the one we prefer to go to, and it started as a single story, almost like a rural hospital many years ago in the 40s and 50s, I don't know, 60s maybe. And now it's built out to a big campus. And yes, it is in North Kansas City. There's been some sort of attempt to, I don't know, take it over or something. I believe it has been owned by the city itself, and then all of a sudden, there's somebody interested in buying it, a big corporation, and then the leaders of the city hall seems to have gotten stacked in recent years of people in favor of selling it, and it seems like almost all the citizens of this town are like, nope, no can do, don't do that, we don't want it. So it's been going back and forth. Who knows? I mean, I don't know anything about it. It says Emeritus all over it, so maybe it's already happened. Who knows? I don't know. We'll just keep going here until we don't like it anymore, and then we'll find another one. But, the hospital industry in this country is pretty, it's not great. Not in my opinion. But I'm expressing my opinion too much, I guess. I don't know. Let's go on into North Kansas City if the lights will allow us. 9. Of course, it is rush hour. This is 210. Missouri 210 highway. I guess as long as people don't change lanes, I could go at any time if I wanted to. People are apt to change lanes, and if they don't, which they won't unless I make my move, then there's always a car coming. Wah, wah, wah. Alright, I think it's safe to go, or check that there's not that little sign that you always miss that says no right turn on red. And get all the way over, and another light. I complained a lot about lights, but the funny thing is we got into Georgia. Let me turn these lights off. We got into Georgia, and I noticed that the lights were timed very well. You waited very little at every light, and they need to apply that here. And I think it's a sign of what's the opposite of progressive? Regressive mentality, regressive politics. Lights should not make you wait for long periods of time. And when I'm an overnighter, since I work overnights, and there are too many lights that are left on, that at the most they should be a blinking red for most intersections because there's no traffic. And quite often you're stuck at a light that will not change, and you have to turn on your flashers and go through the light. Make sure it's safe and clear. And I'm sure the police don't like that, but at 3 a.m, you can't sit for 15 minutes waiting for a light to change when there's no traffic. You're the only car there. So they either need to put the lights on blinking red, which is like a 4-way stop, or something. And it's all the cities in this metro area. And like I say, we were amazed when we got into Georgia. They've done some engineering work or whatever, where the lights just, like, if there's no traffic, bing, they stop you briefly for a couple seconds and you go. And even when there is a lot of traffic, they seem to be able to get people through. Here we got traffic jams left and right because of lights. Now this was supposed to be a penny tour of North Kansas City Hospital. Now it's turned into a rant about traffic lights. Mine. But especially at rush hour, like now. And it just makes it worse. It doesn't make it better. It's not regulating anything. When I worked in Lawrence, Kansas, there was a long conversation about the lights on Castle. That's what it was. They wanted to make them timed so that it put the wait times down to a minimum. And they talked about the engineering that it takes, and the studies that they have to do, and the studies for the studies and everything. Even those studies cost millions of dollars. But they were talking about, we're going to make this investment, It's good investment because it pays off in the end. And obviously everywhere in Kansas City metro area, I don't know what they've done in the way of that kind of investment. But it seems like, especially in Kansas City, Missouri, it's horrible. And they've gone around, and their solution was to go around and remove lights, mostly from inner city areas. And when they did that, I would love to see what the study is on that, because I believe I'm a victim of that. I walked across an intersection in Westport one morning in 2018, And some guy didn't even want to stop at the light. I think he stopped. Then he made a fast right-hand turn. He said he couldn't see me because of the sun in the morning. He ran over me and one of my dogs, Jimmy. And I have permanent, lifelong injuries from that. And, we talked to our lawyer about going after him. He said, well, that's sucking blood out of a turnip. You're not going to get anything, and it's just going to cost you money. So people do this kind of thing left and right. But the thing is that's one of those intersections. It's Mill Street and Westport Road. And it's one of the intersections where they removed the traffic light. And Westport is terrible because people there are there's too many jerks that come to that area. And they don't think about what they do affects everybody else around them. Here I am ranting about Westport and driving through North Kansas City. The park here, it has a little water splash park for kids, and that's turned off, obviously. Probably something that doesn't last past Labor Day. A Memorial Day to Labor Day thing. Citywide garage sale, third Saturday in May and September. It's not this weekend, it's next weekend. And here's City Hall and the police department and the municipal court and everything. It's where you pay your traffic tickets. And this guy with the bashed up front end is coming out. Concentra Urgent Care. Lady with a bashed up front end. And she's about to be blocking traffic. The person in the Honda is being nice and letting her out. Anyway, I had a really good lunch. I've been having this desire, especially when the weather gets like this, to have soup and sandwiches. And I haven't found too many good soup and sandwich places, local, that won't charge you an arm and a leg. So I went to the hospital. I had a wonderful tomato bisque soup, mashed potatoes, fried chicken. I mean, it was okay, but the soup was great. Can't do too much to soup to mess it up. And nice being stuck in traffic. I don't know, this is making for very great television here. I'm just going to the end of the main street here, which is what is this street? Armour, I believe. Here's our movie theater. We watch all our movies here. Oh, wow. Saya wants to go to that. I might treat her to that, maybe on her birthday. 10/3 if it's still playing. Don't tell Saya. The Taylor Swift, The Eras, it's like a documentary. It's going to be playing there. It says 10/3. Probably only playing on that day. Here's Jefferson's over here. And Jefferson's, I don't know where they've started, but we started going to them in Lawrence. And it says over here, I don't like cheesesteaks, but pastrami cheesesteak, Reuben, Tay's cheesesteaks. I might try it to see what they have as far as soup and sandwiches. And this downtown is kind of interesting. There's quite a few little places here where bands are playing, and there's kind of a little music scene happening here in North Kansas City. Especially that place close to that theater there. There's a kind of a coffee house, bar, venue. I love this Allen Chevrolet building. Art Deco. Well, anyway, I will end this boorish rant / penny tour here at the North Kansas City sign. Woo! Fog. Hey, how you doing? This beautiful fine morning finds us in Claycomo, Missouri, home of the Claycomo Ford plant. And we're here because of a looming possible strike between the United Auto Workers and the big three automakers, Ford, General Motors, and well, it's Chrysler, but it goes by another name, Stellantis or something like that, which kind of reminds me of like when railroads were changing their names into something that seemed like they were ashamed to be railroads, you know, like CSX or, you know, something generic that doesn't. So what is it Stellantis? I guess. I don't know. What does it mean? Doesn't mean anything. It means they don't identify as a car company, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, we were live in the parking lot of the United Auto Workers Union Hall, which at the time we were live, there wasn't hardly anybody around, and it's interesting. The automobile unions in America, they have a rule for, you know, the big three companies that, here's the Ford plant right here, but they have this rule that if you are if you're driving a what they consider to be a foreign car, which is there's the Union Hall right there. But that's a very hard definition these days, because a lot of foreign cars, quote unquote, are all completely assembled, made, even designed in America by Americans. And a lot of American cars source their parts from overseas, and quite often their cars are assembled overseas or in another country like Canada or Mexico. But anyway, neither here nor there. But anyway, there's a looming strike happening, and we'll see if they go through with it or if they come to an agreement. It's I guess the deadline is Friday. And yeah, Claycomo is kind of an interesting town. That's just the Ford plant, and then when you cross under we're 435. When you cross under 435 here, essentially it's like a strip road to the heart of town. I don't think Claycomo really has a downtown. And well, there's over that way is the Retail Rebel. You know, you got to sit through all these lights, and I've already kvetched about the Kansas City area lights. They're designed just to stop you. They're not here for regulating traffic. But yeah, Claycomo is essentially this strip road. There's some interesting old stuff on the side of the highway, you know, in here I'd like to explore. But for the most part, it's kind of the automobile era. It's not a very pedestrian-friendly road through here. I don't even see sidewalks on the sides. And There's no crosswalks. It's definitely you take your life in your hands to cross. There's a diner here. It's all pink. Giant tenderloin sandwich. Oh boy. I mean, there's neighborhoods to the north and neighborhoods to the south, but this strip road, there's our first crossing right there. It's an overpass pedestrian crossing, and that's not a road track though. Now we're in Kansas City. So anyway, as usual, got to put my TVU in my van up and go home. It has been a crappy morning, so F it. I'm going to have some coffee. Yard. Man, this place is busy. Look at the line. Boy, that mocha gave me a second wind. I hope it doesn't give me another kind of second wind. Hey. Or, well, let me tell you, for about $8 I got this bag, which I don't know what it's intended for, but I'll purpose it for like a throw bag for in the car. You just put it here and throw loose things in it, and it's kind of helps keep organized. A poo pillow. I think this might work for sleeping. It's about the right shape. That's hilarious. And a broom with a dustpan, because you know the witch's brooms just aren't cutting it. And I'll sneak that in the house, see if anybody notices, because the head witch doesn't like me buying brooms for whatever reason. Yesterday we were live at the Ford plant. Today we're live at the General Motors plant in anticipation of a strike. GM Fairfax assembly, built on the same grounds that they used to build B-25 bombers. You can sort of see downtown Kansas City from here if it wasn't blocked by the trees. And of course, Fairfax is a part of Kansas City, Kansas. It's a very beautiful morning. It's a pretty active night. There were 2 fires, house fires, empty house fires at the same time. And we believe both were started by vagrants starting fires within the house. One house was completely demolished. Stop is an apartment fire here in the Northland at Parvin Road. Alright, head rush. Let's see if I can try something. Ooh, excuse me. Looks like the line is a little long.
Thank you for your patience. What can I get started for you?
Is there a way to make a blended matcha?
We can, yeah.
Do you have anything like a mint?
Not for matchas. The matchas are like, we have blueberry, raspberry, vanilla, plain, or lavender. We don't have like a mint syrup, unfortunately, to add to it to make it more minty.
May I have a large lavender?
And you wanted that blended, correct?
Yes, please.
Alrighty, so I have a large blended lavender matcha. Anything else for you?
Nope, that's it.
Is regular milk okay?
Morning.
Thank you. Straw for you.
Thank you.
Here's the blended matcha.
Oh, thank you.
Do a quick autograph for me. Thank you.
There you are.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Have
you.
a good one today.
You too.
Thank you.
Straw. Poke it in here. And matcha. Let's see if this is better for me. Man, I've been struggling all night. And green tea supposedly has no caffeine in it, and so it's and it's got stuff in it that's supposed to be good for you. So let's try it. See if we can switch over to something better. Got the dongies out on this fine evening. We're gonna go have some something, but probably not coffee. Come on, dongies. Come on. Come on, Jimmy. Good. Hey, how you doing? Today is the day the United Auto Workers is supposed to go on strike, and I don't know the specifics of it all, but I guess what the union has decided to do is they're going to go on strike in phases. They're not going to shut down all the plants up all at once. So they've begun the strike, but not here in Kansas City. The Kansas City plants are not in this phase yet. So as you'll see when we get to it, the factory is still going. The cars they make here in Claycomo, they make pickup trucks, and they make transit vans, and the lot is full of transit vans being ready to be shipped to either their storage locations or to their where they're going to go, their final destination. So, and here's the factory, and I imagine if I'm keeping an eye open because there might be some picketers. I believe this is the main entrance, I'm told. And this is where we go when we're driving a non-kosher car, like a Toyota. And here's the Union Hall, and even the Union Hall, they have signs up, but I don't see any picketers or any activity. The parking lot is empty. There's a big angry red sign that says, "Keep your foreign car off our lot," essentially. And here's the factory, and all the transit vans are still being moved over here to their storage lot. You know, waiting to be picked up by transportation. Or driven to where they need to be. there's a worker behind me right now in a transit van. There's a transporter truck, and it's still going, still busy. Well, anyway, I'm gonna check in and then head back. I believe I was supposed to be here in case the strike started and get video, but there's nothing to shoot. There's nothing to show. People are still working. So. And I guess I get into our transit vans so I can come back, and I believe I have to check on a shooting too. There's a shooting on the list here, so all right, fun. Fridays are my day to say, hey, I made it through the week, so let's cut loose a little. Been coming to Claycomo all week and passing by this place, so I thought I would stop in and try it out. Nella Bell's Diner.
You won't. I'll give you 100 if you win it. My extra rate is
We are sassified. We are getting ready for the September affair. The kids are not involved in this. This is for the adult scenic tile, which Zach is in. So yeah, this is keeping our weekend busy. So totally not my scene. Oh, he's getting closer to me. Face, nose. He really cleans up well. Got to stand in a place where I can. Yeah, he really cleans up well. What? Let's go that way. So Zach is getting his picture took. Smile.
About to begin.
I'm doing an isolated shoot just like I did last time. Isolated means you record in the camera and edit. I have 2 cameras at the stage. My main camera, which I actually have sound coming up the board this time. And
we hope you enjoyed the dinner
I got
and fabulous dessert.
this camera
Yes.
and my roving camera.
We'd like to thank you.
All right, we've gotten to that part of the evening. They're dancing. Zach is now finishing eating after dancing. So he says it's actually good. And all the dancers here have their plates covered. Somewhere over there, I don't want to be the creepy uncle, is Zach dancing like Lutherans. You could party all night on Saturday, but you better damn be sure to be in church on Sunday morning. It's still Claycomo expiration week. So we're going to go and try out this restaurant over here, Ma and Pa's Kettle. I like the name, it's cute. Everybody's chowing down. I have this on the cinematic, which is not very wide. But everybody's chowing down. We are satisfied. And it was inexpensive too, and very friendly. We're in the same strip mall as retail, so guess where we're going? Retail.